Russian troops attacked in the Kursk and Sumy regions, including in the area of Andreevka, Alekseevka and Kondratovka, as well as in the area of Yablonovka and in Yunakovka. Russian military bloggers claimed that Ukrainian troops counterattacked in the area of Yunakovka, Andrievka and Alekseevka. Analysts from the Institute for the Study of War have voiced the situation in Sumy region. A Russian military blogger, allegedly affiliated with Russia's northern group of forces, claimed on September the 11th that North Korean forces operating in the Kyiv area of the Kursk region are not prepared for combat and are moving in easily accessible groups without body armor, crawling between positions and stealing generators from neighboring Russian units, which provokes Ukrainian shelling. The military blogger added that North Korean forces are not sufficiently prepared for combat and that Russian forces have not provided them with the necessary training, basic logistics and liaison officers. On September the 11th, the Sumy Regional Military Administration reported that Russian troops had carried out an FPV drone strike on a motorcycle on the road in Velikopisarevskaya Gromada, injuring a civilian. The head of the Novgorod-Seversky District Military Administration, Alexander Selivestov, said on September the 11th that Russian troops had begun using Gerberer drones to remotely mine territories in the Chernihiv region, located up to 30 kilometers from the state border. It is also noted that units of the 810th Marine Brigade of the Russian Navy are conducting an offensive in the Kondratovka area, and that the Russian military command recently transferred battle-weary units of the 382nd Separate Marine Battalion from Stepnoye to support the offensive in the Kondratovka area. Units of the 143rd Motorized Rifle Regiment, 1434th Akhmat Chechen Regiment, 22nd Motorized Rifle Regiment, 44th Army Corps and 83rd Separate Airborne Brigade are experiencing difficulties in conducting offensives in the Varachino area. Units of the 51st Airborne Regiment have begun digging trenches and engineering positions in the Sadkov area. Recall, more than 210 square kilometers of Sumy region are under Russian forces' control and classified as a red zone. The spokesperson for the State Border Guard Service, Andriy Demchenko, on the air of Unified News, reported that within Kharkiv and Sumy regions, despite all difficulties, Ukrainian soldiers hold their positions and Russia is suffering heavy losses. He also noted that the aggressor's assault activity has decreased recently. Within Kharkiv and Sumy regions, despite all difficulties, Ukrainian soldiers hold their positions and Russia is suffering heavy losses, Andriy Demchenko said. A U.S. B-2 strategic bomber has carried out a training strike in northern Norway, near Russia's Arctic waters. The test was aimed at demonstrating the capabilities of the new quick-sink anti-ship bomb, which can hit both stationary and moving vessels. The details were revealed by Newsweek. The launch took place on September the 3rd in the Norwegian Sea near the island of Andøya, about 590 kilometers from the Russian-Norwegian border. The test took place in parallel with the operation of a U.S. NATO naval group in the Barents Sea, where the Allies were monitored by the Russian military. According to the U.S. Air Force, the aircraft was equipped with 2 types of JDAM bombs before taking off from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, the 226-kilogram GBU-38 and the 2-ton GBU-31 modified for the quick-sink program. The new system allows the JDAM to receive an updated seeker module and hit maritime targets with high accuracy. The American Research Center emphasizes quick-sink is a response to the need to quickly neutralize dangerous maritime threats in different regions of the world. Photos released by the Norwegian military captured the moment the munition was dropped. Footage taken through the submarine's periscope showed the impact with the target ship. The US Air Force confirmed that the bomber was carrying both types of munitions, but that the GBU-31 variant was used for the attack. This test was at least the third in a series of tests. The B-2 previously used a 2,000-pound version of Quicksink during exercises in Hawaii in July 2024 and used a 500-pound version in Florida earlier this year. With a payload capacity of up to 18 tons, the aircraft can carry dozens of these munitions and operate against targets deep in enemy defenses. The 53rd Wing Press Service of the US Air Force noted, the B-2 played a quick role, using Quicksink guided munitions to destroy a maritime target. In addition to testing the weapons, the mission confirmed the aircraft's advantages: stealth, range and flexibility in choosing a payload, as well as its growing role in maritime operations. The US Air Force lab added, Project Quicksink is aimed at creating a low-cost way to achieve torpedo-like attacks from the air, but at a much higher speed and over a wider area than a submarine can afford. It is not yet known whether the US plans to equip other aircraft with these weapons, but experts believe that the US military will continue to build up anti-ship capabilities to deter Russia and China. German police say they have identified the likely perpetrators of the September 2022 Nord Stream 1 and 2 gas pipeline bombings. The explosions released 350,000 tons of methane into the Baltic Sea and sparked a major geopolitical crisis, initially raising suspicions about the Kremlin, the Telegraph reports. According to investigators, the operation, allegedly called Diameter, was carried out by a group of 6 Ukrainian individuals. The key figure has been identified as Sergei K., a 49-year-old retired Ukrainian naval captain and former Secret Service officer who was detained by Italian police at a beach resort on the Adriatic Sea. He is scheduled to be extradited to Germany. The operation required a high level of preparation. 4 members of the team were experienced deep-sea divers who planted explosives on the seabed at a depth of 80 meters. For this, they rented the yacht Andromeda, which looked like an ordinary tourist boat. The bombs were planted near the Danish island of Bornholm using high-grade military explosives. The investigation has established a range of evidence linking the suspects: fingerprints, DNA, border control video cameras, mobile phone records, and statements from a taxi driver who was used for transportation. There are also suspicions of official assistance, including a car registered to a military attaché at the Ukrainian embassy in Poland. German prosecutors have issued arrest warrants for all 6 suspects, who are charged with jointly causing an explosion, unconstitutional sabotage, and destruction of infrastructure. The value of the damaged pipelines is estimated at £20 billion sterling, and the budget for the operation was only about $300,000. The Ukrainian government denies authorizing the operation. According to the Wall Street Journal, President Volodymyr Zelenski allegedly tried to intervene, but the unit was already operating in deep cover, and former Commander-in-Chief Valery Zaluzny, now ambassador to London, allegedly ignored his instructions. Experts say the attack has served as a wake-up call to Western countries about the fragility of their energy infrastructure. NATO is being forced to improve pipeline protection and use drone surveillance and other measures, says Ed Arnold of the Royal United Services Institute. If convicted, Sergei K. risks a long prison sentence, but upon returning to Ukraine, he could be considered a national hero.